Hello Ghana, hello Africa. Welcome back to the channel. You are watching Ghana Online TV, Billy Snaps, Coffee Bilson TV right over here in Accra. Today we've gotten to the conference center just to let you know what is really happening right here as minority and majority in Parliament are just arrive safely towards their section whereby they're going to discuss one or two. We all know that for now the NDC have taken this over and they are just the majority in Parliament right over here. Esla also is in the building, and I don't know, and my lady also just arrived, and we all had the speculation which we are all anticipating what really went on at Ayawaso. But for now, we can just confirm that my lady is going to address the Parliament before the real session, whereby on the 6th of January we can just confirm they are resuming to Parliament right over here. Let's dive into it and see what really goes on here. Billy Snaps, Ghana Online TV, Coffee Boson TV. Let's dive into it. Mommy.
Hello. That would mean that the swearing of the you don't want that. I think that after the release, especially after then sit and there are some legislation for you people coming in now as the minority, but you're going into the majority. How does it feel? How does everything feel?
Oh, we feel good, and let me say that the issue of who is majority and who is minority is not it is not up to us to fight over it in Parliament. Now it is obvious that the MPP majority has now been reduced to one. So that's what it is. Go ahead and do the business of the day, business of the community, of the people, and ensure that the right thing is done.
So is that why your members have gone to their original seats?
Yeah, I think it's pointless. Pointless at this point to fight over this majority seats. The people of Ghana have determined who is indeed the majority and who is the minority. Not just with small numbers, but emphatically. The NDC members of Parliament constitute the majority for the 9th Parliament. So I don't think it's time for us to fight over one seat from now till Parliament is dissolved on the 5th or on the 6th of January. Let's make sure we do the right thing for the people.
Finally, what kind of key business will you be supporting the government to deal with? Have you had any agreement so far?
So I want to make something very clear. We will not support anything that will commit the next government. This is a transition. We should allow the next government to make that determination. But anything that will seek to benefit all of us, and all of us agree to support it, like bills, lawmaking. But those loan agreements and the likes of leases and all must wait for the next government to make that determination. There's a precedent to that. The Honorable Chairman Sabonsu did just that in 2016 with the MPP minority then. There's no difference. We're going to do just that. And let's see what will happen from today.
Are you gunning for the finance minister role? Are you gunning for the finance minister role?
I'm not gunning for anything.
Including a lithium agreement. Are you saying that the lithium agreement, which is before your house, you call it be frozen?
It's not about. I think I made my point. My point is that anything that is going to commit
You have
the
said
next
enough. You have
administration,
said enough. Let's go
we should
inside.
allow.
Congratulations. You've
we
said
should
enough. Let's go
allow-
inside.
Thank you very much.
Let's
for
go inside. You've said
congratulating me.
enough. Let's
Yeah,
go.
so
You've
the-
won. Let's go.
My key point is we have expenditure in advance of appropriations. We need to do that.
Good. House.
Do we have it?
How you call? My MPs in the building. Director, welcome.
Thank you very much and welcome to the New Patriotic Party headquarters. If you all recall, last week when the 11th December, we invited you to our headquarters to do a press conference and also to brief you and bring you up to speed of where we were as a party, the number of constituencies that we had won, and standing constituencies that we had issues, particularly the attitude of the opposition party, the NDC, obstructing coalition processes in several constituencies. Today, we have met you again to once again bring you up to speed of where we are after our press conference on Wednesday. But before we proceed to give you details of today's press conference, I also want us to acknowledge the presence of some key party stalwarts who have us here this morning. On my extreme left is Evans Mako, who is the Director of Research and Election for our party. Next is Mr. Dari Mako, Director of Legal Affairs. We also have Chairman McBurnham, who was the chairperson for our electoral affairs for campaign 2024. We have the majority leader, Honorable Afino Markin, sitting on my right. We also have Honorable Obi Amwa, who is also part of the electoral affairs committee. Then the regional chairman of Greater Accra, Chairman Divine, is also here. Our Director of Finance and Administration, William Yamwa. The third vice national chairman, Alhaji Masawood, is also here. The youth organizer, Salam Mustafa, is also here with us. And we also have our parliamentary candidates, some of our parliamentary candidates, affected constituencies that will be showing more details in our press conference. We have Honorable Ekuya Friye, our parliamentary candidate for Abdul North, here with us also. Charles Forson, our parliamentary candidate for Tema Central, is also here. Nana Jima Prempe, our parliamentary candidate for Ahafano North. Evis Osemen Sadapa, our parliamentary candidate for Ahafano Southwest. And Abanga Yakubu, our parliamentary candidate for our way. Ladies and gentlemen, the New Patriotic Party, our tradition, has always believed in expressing our reservations and concerns through due process. And anyone who knows our history will agree with me that whenever we have issues, whenever we feel something are not going right, we don't resort to violence. We always make our case known to the Ghanaian public so that they will hear our side and also be informed of what is really happening. Like I indicated to you last week Wednesday when we did the press conference about how the NDC were creating chaos in various coalition centers. Afterwards, the electoral commission moved the coalition centers for some constituencies to the police training school at Tesana. And through to that, we were able to resolve issues in three constituencies, namely Surum, Apetia, and Mantia. But the process also has come to a stalemate or standstill because, again, typical of the NDC, they didn't want the process to go on. So today, this press conference will be led by the Electoral and Legal Affairs Committee of the New Patriotic Party to give accurate and more detailed account, what we refer to further better particulars of the outstanding constituencies, so that at least the whole of Ghana, through your medium, will get to appreciate the issues at stake, and also to let you know that as a political party, our next line of action. And I can assure you, all the seats that are remaining, that we, the New Patriotic Party, strongly believe, based on our coalition that we won, that seat, whether today, tomorrow, next week, 1 month, what is due as will be given to the New Patriotic Party through fair means. So at this juncture, I will invite Mr. McMenu to brief us and do the press conference on behalf of the New Patriotic Party. Thank you very much.
Ladies and gentlemen of the press, the leadership of the New Patriotic Party is pleased to welcome you to the party's national secretariat for the crucial engagement and commend you for honoring our invitation at such a short notice. The essence of today's media engagement is to furnish you with the details of unfolding development at the various coalition centers for the outstanding constituencies and the state of the party's official position on all such matters. The NPP has with great concern taken notice of the NDC's crude strategy of sending their party hoodlums to disrupt ongoing coalition of parliamentary election results in constituencies that they know they have lost. The modus operandi of these hoodlums, with the consent of the NDC leadership, is to visit the coalition centers and undertake the following lawless acts: destroy all pink sheets they will lay their hands on, destroy ballot boxes and other election material, beat up electoral officers and party representatives and challenge them, threaten the life of any person who disagrees with them, chase out members of the National Election Security Task Force and take charge of the coalition process, ensure the coalition is aborted when they realize that their candidate has lost, and compel the returning officers to declare NDC parliamentary candidates as winners of the parliamentary elections. These infractions have been recorded during the collation of the parliamentary election results for the following constituencies: 1. Ablekuma North, 2. Okalkwe Central, 3. Tema Central, 4. Domi Kwabenya, 5. Ahafuano North, 6. Obuasi East, 7. Ahafuano Southwest, 8. Apatia, 9. Sukum, 10. Pantiapa North, 11. Isawam Adwaji, and lastly, but not the least, Techiman South and Auri. The question many will ask is, why will anybody who claims to have won an election be interested in destroying the most crucial evidence, in this case, pink sheets and ballot papers, that will confirm his victory? The person who has claimed to have genuinely won an election should rather be interested in protecting the pieces of evidence that will prove that he has indeed won, who obtained 34,199 votes. We have scanned all the 281 pink sheets issued to us by the presiding officers of the various polling stations before transporting them to the EC coalition center. Despite knowing that they have lost the parliamentary elections in Ablekuma North, per the records on the pink sheets, the NDC and their parliamentary candidates are refusing to accept the reality and to respect the will of the people of Ablekuma North, as expressed at the polls. They are still desperately seeking to mislead their supporters and the general public into believing that they won the election. Further to this, the NDC tried every possible means to destroy pink sheets, which are the primary records of the elections. It will be recalled that on Sunday, 8 December 2024, NDC tax stormed Abletuman North Constituency Collation Center, overpowered the police, and ran amok, attempting to destroy every electoral material on site. In view of the vandalism that occurred at the collation center by the NDC hoodlums, the EC was unable to continue with the collation exercise at the constituency collation center. Consequently, the EC invited the parties to the EC Regional Collation Center at Rich on Monday, 9th December 2024 to complete the collation. A total of 214 polling station results were collated after verification and authentication by all the parties, leaving 67 pink sheets, which were to be collated on Tuesday, 10th December 2024. However, when the parties got to the regional collation center on Tuesday, the NDC representative, in shocking turn of events, said they wouldn't allow the EC to collate the remaining 67 polling station results, insisting that they could not find their pink sheets. They then ordered the constituency returning officer, Mr. Vincent Tobin, to declare their candidate as winner of the parliamentary election. The returning officer told them that he had not finished with the collation, so he had 7 pink sheets before making any declaration as required by Regulation 43 or CI 127, a position that was strongly supported by the MPP's parliamentary candidate and her agents. The NDC would, however, have none of that, as they insisted that their candidate, Barbara Obin, had won and should be declared as such. This resulted in a misunderstanding, whereupon the NDC reps invited their party tax, who had mastered at the EC Regional Collation Center, to force their way into the collation center, having overpowered the security and destroyed facilities belonging to the commission, the electoral commission. The returning officer, the response. This is the thing. Okay, this is the video. The returning officer being attacked and to declare. Is there any voice? Without even mentioning the name of the candidate nor the number of votes obtained by any of the candidates as required by law. Equally, the parliamentary results collation sheet Form 1C and parliamentary results summary sheet Form 1D could not be filled as required by Regulation 43 1B of CI 127. Additionally, a returning officer could not issue out the rate for 1B as required by Regulation 43 1G. I pose this question, that if your hand is raised that you have won an election and you go to the house, what are you going to show to your wife or your husband that you have won an election? There must be a documentary proof. So if your hand is only raised that you have won an election and you go home, what are you going to tell your wife or your husband? Or what are you going to show him or her that you have won an election? The processes are documented in Regulation 43 of the CI. So if it's incomplete, it's incomplete. So that's for Madame Leclerc-Fouye and Abdulrahman North. 2, we move on to Tema Central constituency. Data on the face of the pink sheets for all the 148 polling stations in Tema Central shows clearly that the MPP parliamentary candidate, Charles Forster, won the parliamentary elections for the constituency with 55 votes difference. He obtained 18,870 votes to beat the NDC's candidate, Ebi Bright, who polled 18,815. When the NDC realized that they had lost, they sent their party thugs to disrupt the coalition exercise. These thugs overpowered the security and ran amok at the coalition center, injuring innocent people in the process. This compelled the Metro EC director, Mr. Ofosuhene A. Manasseh, to call for a suspension of the coalition in view of the prevailing chaos and other security concerns. Coalition resumed on Monday, 9th December, at the Tema Regional Police Command, which was again disrupted by the NDC thugs who stormed the coalition center in their hundreds and overpowered the police. The thugs took charge of the coalition process and ordered the EC to declare their parliamentary candidate, Eddie Bright, as the winner of the elections when it was left with 2 pink sheets to complete the coalition process. The NDC knew very well that when the NPP candidate and incumbent MP for Kankwe Central constituency, Honorable Patrick Yabuama, won the parliamentary elections with a vote margin of 1,446 votes. NPP candidate Honorable Patrick Yabuama obtained 20,229 votes as against NDC's Baba Sadiq, who polled 18,783 votes, with only 3 polling stations remaining. The records show that even when all the votes in the 3 polling stations are added to the NDC's candidate, it will not offset the vote difference. This is important. Even when all the 3 outstanding polling stations are added on to the NDC candidate, it would not offset the vote difference. At this moment, the coalition process was disrupted by the NDC thugs, who stormed the coalition center and sought to destroy critical electoral materials, including pink sheets, essential for verifying the results. They took control of the coalition process and threatened the EC's officials to declare their candidate as winner, resulting in chaotic scenes which led to suspension of the constituency coalition. The parties were invited to the EC Regional Coalition Center on Monday, 9 December 2024 to complete the coalition process. The NDC insisted that they would not accept the continuation of the coalition and demanded that the EC should declare their candidate as winner of the parliamentary election. Under visible duress, the returning officer excluded the results from 31 polling stations and declared the results based on only 110 polling stations. This action is inconsistent with the electoral laws as it excludes legitimate votes cast by constituents and fails to reflect the true outcome of the elections in Okaigwe Central. The NDC's disagreement was based on alleged issues with certain polling stations. The attack stormed the electoral EC Coalition Center and coerced the returning officer to declare. And here too, we have video footages to corroborate these incidents of vandalism and physical abuse of the electoral staff. I don't think you can show the footage. Challenges which made it impossible to continue with the coalition. The returning officer assured the candidates and their agents that she would communicate a new venue for the continuation of the coalition. We are however hearing that there was a purported declaration of results under duress, and that too in her absence, contrary to requirements of Regulation 43 of CI 127. Equally, a parliamentary results collation sheet from 1C and parliamentary results summary sheet from 1D was not filled as required by Regulation 43 1B, 1 and B of CI 127, and the rate of declaration from 1B was also not issued as required by Regulation 43 1 and G. The MPP candidate or his agent has still not been informed of the new venue for the continuation of the collation, contrary to the assurances given by the returning officer during the raid by the NDC tax. Well, we can report that based on our own collation, the MPP parliamentary candidate, Ambassador Michael Kwe Jr., won the parliamentary elections in Domi Kwabinya, and are confident that when EC resumes collation, our position will be vindicated. 5. Ahafano North constituency in Ashanti region. The NPP parliamentary candidate, Honorable Eric Nana Ajimai Prempe, won the parliamentary elections with a margin of 121 votes as per data collated from all the 140 polling stations by the party. The MPP's candidate, Nana Ajimai Prempe, has hard copies of all the 140 pages. That put him at 20,353 votes as against NDC's candidate at 20,232. I believe we all have witnessed what we call MP3 in Tema East of Dama. So if somebody wins with a difference of 1 he has won. After all, the law says first past the post. During the collation by the EC at the Constituency Collation Center, NDC tax stormed the collation center at Kepa SHS and began destroying and burning electoral materials, particularly pink sheets, computers, and ballot papers, as well as properties of the Kepa SHS, including louver blades, benches, and tables. They also manhandled MPP representatives and EC officials. These violent conducts by the NDC tax, who had overpowered the police, prompted the intervention of the military to save lives and property. The NDC hoodlums did not only attack the collation center, but they also proceeded to launch an attack at the residence of the MPP parliamentary candidate, Honorable Eric Nana Ajimai Prempe, spent his vehicle and attacked his warehouse, stole his items, and attacked his radio station. There are video footages in wide circulations that captured all these attacks. These issues have since been reported to the Ghana police, and an arrest warrant has been issued. The videos are there, and we will give you copies of it. The question many will ask is, since when has it become an offense to contest a parliamentary elections in this country? Why is the NDC bent on thwarting all our democratic gains? Ghana has made a lot of gains. Instead of consolidating it, they are thwarting it. They are throwing it away. Let's go to the 6th one, Obuasi East. That's also in Ashanti. After collecting the polling station results for all the 115 polling stations, the MPP parliamentary candidate obtained 18,558 votes as against NDC's 18,539. Strangely, the returning officer, the police, and the MPP candidate, at the threat of their lives, succumbed to the unlawful demands of the NDC hoodlums, who had besieged the collation center and took charge of the constituency collation process to swap the election results. And we have that. Is that ready to show them? They swapped the results that I had mentioned and then announced that. Okay, they gave them APP's candidates to that of the NDC, of WASIS.
They just cancelled.
They cancelled the first one, which we have the data and reverse. I mean, what is it? They swapped the results in favor of the NDC.
And we know the candidate and asked him to sign that. He prefers dying or going to Parliament. So he should sign that.
Number 7, Ahafano Southwest, also in Ashanti. Results from all the 103 polling stations indicate that the MPP's candidate, Elvis Osemen Sandapa, obtained 16,058 votes, as against NDC's candidate, who polled 15,000 370 votes. As usual, the NDC hoodlums attacked the collation center and in the process killed one of our supporters. We have all our pinches intact, and that shows clearly that the NPP parliamentary candidates won the parliamentary elections by 686 votes margin. 686 votes margin. The EC invited the parties to its regional collation center on Monday, 9 December 2024 at 10 a.m. The EC collated all the results from all the 103 polling stations, filled the Form 1C as well as the Form 1D, but due to threat on his life, he opted not to declare the final result. So this is the situation at Ahafano Southwest. Now we go to Bono East, number 8, Techima South constituency. Collation from 279 out of a total of 282 polling stations indicate clearly that Honorable Martin Kwaku Ajayi Mensah Kosi, the MPP parliamentary candidate, obtained 46,468 votes as against NDC's Christopher Bayari, who polled for the 3,365 votes. Two other candidates in the parliamentary elections obtained 225 votes. The constituency collation was the EC's arrangement to continue with the collation at the regional level in Koforidua was also disrupted by the hoodlums, compelling the EC to relocate the collation to the police training school at Tesson based on security considerations. Leader will want to add something because he was present.
Friends from the media, I want to explain something that happened at Tesson. Honorable Obiabwan and my good self were there as representatives from the party's headquarters. On that day, that was a Thursday, last week Thursday, we had 4 constituencies: Fantiakwa North, Akotia, Suhum, and the Sawom Adwejiri. The first collation to be completed for the day was Fantiakwa North. When we got that done, we came to Akotia, which we also successfully completed, and it was declared. Then it was leveled in Sawom, Adwejiri, and Suhum. Both were being done. Now, for Suhum, there was another go-slow. The NDC at every stage tried to disrupt. Eventually, they rejected 6 polling station results, and we accepted that if they've rejected, they don't want it to be bad, that is fine, because it was still giving us a win of over 1,500. Then they tried to use an independent candidate agent to frustrate the process. In fact, eventually, the NDC leaders who came there, led by the famous Alfred Oyobe, told me and Honorable Obiamwa that they want to negotiate for us to allow the declaration of Suhum, and that their foot soldiers were amassing outside, and that if all 4 constituencies are declared for us, they will kill them. Very sad. Eventually, when we said no, we have to continue with the process, and we completed the Suhum process where Suhum was declared, they tried another go-slow on Sawom Adwejiri. Each one of them that came said, "Oh, you said, I'm not on dream winning, I am farmer." Where does this happen? Eventually, when the EC official decided to continue the process, the NDC, led by Alfred Woyome, came into the collation center and said that, okay, their computer was not working, so we should give them 2 hours to charge their battery. As at 1 a.m., when they had gotten 3 hours to charge the so-called battery of the laptop, they said they were tired. Meanwhile, their candidate walked in. The candidate for Nsawom Adwejiri walked in. And we said, okay, if you are tired, the candidate himself was there. Meanwhile, Honorable Anodambre had been there the whole day. What next? The EC official, after another 1 hour of unnecessary disruption, He said he was tired, he was feeling sleepy, and that we should do it at 6 a.m. the following day, Friday. We all slept there. Well, by the way, I left around 4 a.m. to shower, and I came back around 7 o'clock. Around this time, the General Secretary was also there, but the candidate, Honorable Anodombre, and his agent slept there. At 6:30 thereabout, collation resumed. Around 8 o'clock, they started the agenda again. We will not allow. Then around 8:30, their counsel came in, Honorable Mr. Eduji Tamaklu, claiming that he had in his possession an injunction order from the court. Only to find out later that they will use a delay tactics to file an application. They had filed a writ in court, that is the candidate for NDC had filed a writ in court with an injunction application, which they were seeking to serve the Honorable Anodombre and EC. So clearly, these are not Democrats. Whereas Dr. Bawumia conceded defeat even before EC's official announcement. They were not ready to accept defeat in these constituencies that day. They were not ready to concede defeat where they knew clearly, because their posture was that they won't allow the process to continue. And then in fact on Friday itself, after they have successfully gotten the Anodon Press constituency coalition disrupted, then they came to the others. The police had arranged collation tables for the other constituencies. In fact, Techiman South has started. They were collating. Ahafano Southwest, we had their table. We had Obuasi East, and all the Ashanti region seats were supposed to be collated. And then the following day, Saturday, was for Greater Accra. They deliberately disrupted and then used social media to threaten the police, whereupon the police felt that they could not provide security, in spite of EC's insistence to continue the work. In fact, on Friday afternoon, it was the police that actually instructed the EC to stop the collation process. I repeat, on Friday afternoon, it was the police that instructed EC to stop the process of collecting the result because it was not sure of its ability to provide security. And you recall that was when the deputy communication officer, I don't want to mispronounce his name, had issued threat at commanding 5,000 people to meet at the police training school. It's all on social media. So our appeal to the international community, civil society organizations, the media, and all lovers of democracy is to show interest in these outstanding constituencies and give the EC every moral support to proceed to make these declarations. Again, we are encouraging the Electoral Commission that pursuant to their own statement they issued and their press conference on the evening of Friday to proceed to collect and declare these results.